Welcome to Game 2 here at Clover Cup 2019. I'm Scarlett O'Hurtia.
I'm Dork Mistress.
And we are excited to bring you Kansas City Roller Warriors versus Rockin City Rollergirls, excuse me. And we're going to, real quickly, as we've got about 2.5 minutes left before we start the game, we're going to introduce you to our teams today. You want to lead us off?
Yes, so playing for the Kansas City Roller Warriors, it is 01 Killshot, 1040 Skatal Attraction, 206 Bones, 27 Bare Knuckles, 28 Sing Machine, 318 Mel Malice, 4 Jessica Kaboom, 41 Mayhem Myers, 411 Skyscraper, 5 Dizzy Aster, 5000 Baby Buster, 601 Dixie Wolf, 77 Pebbles, 86 Black Mamba, and 913 Jamalama Ding Dong.
Your favorite name of the game, right?
So far.
And in the blue today, the Rockin City Roller Girls, greatest hits, 0260 Baba Vroom, 101 Kellerella DeVille, 1096 Chola Rolla, 1990 Rugrat 2070 Shiner Knock, 211 Beth Wish, 23 Fury, 31 Frankie Stein, 42 Red Ripper, 48 Monizy, 5011 Moxie Balboa, 5678 Bossy Nova, and 669 is Miss Destruction, 789 Insidious, and 989 is Dimples Destroya.
So the teams coming into this competition, we have Kansas City coming in ranked 3rd. It is Rockin City Rollergirls who are ranked 6th. So Kansas City 104 in the WFTDA rankings, and Rockin City Rollergirls at 141. So this should still be a really good, tight, close game.
It should, and we've got a very qualified crew of officials that we want to make sure that we recognize as well. Our skating officials, MC Ninja, Cataclysm, Valerito, Lil Tex, Captain Left Hook, Chad Holderfield, Dylan, and PK Biddy.
And our non-skating officials headed up by Amy Farrell Fowler, Flourish and Blocks, Jurassic Snark, Sweet Tart, Nova, Molly Slamming, Doc Skinner, LBJ, Big Brad Wolf, and Buzzkiller.
We are about 30 seconds out till Derby. Again, Kansas City in the white, Rockin City in the blue. Both teams coming in with some shifts from previous seasons. Kansas City in particular. I know one of our lovely announcers, CAC, spoke to the Kansas City contingent last night, and they've been doing a lot of footage review. They have been analyzing every little thing that each of these teams has done, so they are coming in with a wealth of knowledge in their head. It's just a matter of putting it into practice on the track.
Preparation. And we are underway as the period whistle has gone, so we're just lining up for that first jam. So on the jam line, it is Moxie Balboa for Rockin City.
And for Kansas City, I believe that is Skatal Attraction.
It is. So we're going for a pivot line start.
Skatal on the inside. Moxie shoots through on a diagonal cut down the straightaway, gets through, and is recycled at turn 1.
But that's some great push out up front by Moxie Balboa.
Pack scatters at turn 2. And now both jammers out of the pack and eligible to score points. But Moxie with the lead. Oh, no, not anymore. Being sent around the track. Just kidding. I was calling out a blocker who was being called for a penalty.
But Moxie Balboa able to pick up that first important point on the board for Rockin City Rollergirls. That's a definite statement. It's like, we are coming.
Get those points quick. Call them off. Yeah. Don't give that other team any opportunity here. And Rockin City, as we mentioned before, coming from behind in terms of the WFTDA rankings. Rockin City at 141, Kansas City at 104. So a bit of a difference there.
However, Rockin City with that all-important first point on the board.
Now back on the jam line for Rockin City, we have number 1096 Chola Rolla jamming in the blue. And for Kansas City, that is Bare Knuckles in the white.
Both jammers having to push hard against solid defense.
Tripod defense formations by both teams. We have a bridge in the center by Kansas City. And it looks like Rockin falls apart at the front, right at the apex, and gets through. Kansas City is your lead jammer, Bare Knuckles. And we have a star pass, it looks like.
So Red Ripper now the jammer for Rockin City, but it's Kansas City who see the danger and call that jam. It is 2 points for Kansas City.
It seems to be one of those games that's going to be extremely close and very much so a slugfest. 1 for 1, 2 for 1. Right now, we are literally at 2 for 1. Kansas City at 2, Rockin City at 1. We realize that anybody watching on the feed does not have access to a scoreboard on screen, so we will make sure that we share the score as frequently as we can. Right now, you're not missing a lot. 2 to 1 as we are heading into jam number 3, 27 and some change left in the first half. Who's jamming?
It is Miss Destruction for Rockin City, Jessica Boom for Kansas City. Very tentative start from both teams in these first few jams. Just testing each other out, seeing what's going to work.
You know, we say that, but look at how tightly Kansas is locking down that defense in the front. Nice tripod, anchored to brace as Jessica Boom trying to get through. And we've got whistles being blown left and right. Multiplayer block penalty called on number 5 from Kansas City. That is Dizzy Astor. And lead jammer status goes to Rockin City as 2 Kansas blockers head to the penalty box.
But Jessica Boom has exited the pack.
Beautiful hit there by Kansas City. Number 41, Mayhem. I'm sorry, not 41. That was number 86, pardon me, Black Mamba with that hit. Nice takeout, but Rockin City taking full advantage of that lead jammer status and the fact that 2 of those Kansas City blockers were in the box, come away with 4 points, the highest scoring jam of the game so far. Total of 5 on the board for Rockin City, 2 for Kansas City. 26 and a half minutes left in the game. We're heading into jam number 4. I'm Scarlett, I hurt ya.
I'm Dog Mistress, but it is, again, it's going to be a slugfest. These first few jams are just, it's 2 points here, 1 point there.
And now we've got a battle of Rugrat versus Bones. And another Kansas City blocker heading to the penalty box just as the other 2 are standing. But it doesn't seem to stop Kansas City. They do grab lead jammer status courtesy of Bones. Not far behind, Rugrat sliding around turn 4.
But that means that both teams have picked up lead jammer twice in this game so far. It's tit for tat, tit for tat.
Well, 0 points for Rockin City on that last jam. Looks like 0 for Kansas City as well. Oh, nope, just joking. 2 points before getting shoved out on the outside line right there. Very nice defensive work by Rockin City on that last pass on forcing the call off after only 2 points. So beautifully done. Who do we have jamming now, Dork?
Oh, we have on the jam line, we have Moxie Balboa for Rockin City, and it is Skatal Attraction for Kansas City. So we've had 4 jams and 9 points, which just shows how tight this is.
Defense, defense, defense. And at about the same time, both jammers emerge from the pack. Moxie on the outside grabs lead jammer status, though. Right as Skatal Attraction sneaks by on the inside, but they opt to call off the jam. 0 points for either team on that one. Good defense is just as good as offense at sometimes.
So good tactics, because there wasn't going to be a way that both teams scored points, so it's much better to just call it off and start again. So
it's a bit of a risk, you know. You kind of roll the dice whenever you do that, because there's a good chance that your team could either sneak on up and swallow up the previous jammer, or that your defense could just be super solid. For Kansas City with 1 in the box, you know, Rockin City really rolled the dice on that one. Not rolling the dice, 2 surefire players out on the jam 9 now. Number 1096, Chola Rolla for Rockin City, facing off against Bare Knuckles, a familiar face from Kansas City, and Rockin City has their pivot in the box.
But it's Bare Knuckles who pushes out up front, picking up lead jammer for Kansas City. So this is their 3rd lead jam. Again, Rockin City, 3 lead jams as well. It is 6 of one, half a dozen of another at the moment.
We have a penalty being called on Kansas City, number 77. That is Pebbles.
So that's giving Rockin City the blocker advantage on track.
Rockin City manages to get through that pack, but only with a star stash. 4 points for Kansas City after grabbing lead jammer status and then calling it off. So Kansas takes the lead for the first time in the game, 8-5.
So we've had 6 minutes and we've had 13 points.
Altogether.
Yeah, total points, which is just how tightly and how much both of these teams want this.
Well, and we've seen very low-scoring jams thus far. Defense is definitely the name of the game here.
Yeah.
And out next on the jam line, we have number 4, Jessie Kaboom for Kansas, but your lead jammer in the blue, that is Rockin' City's Miss Destruction.
But Jessica Boom also out of the pack on the initial pass. And it is 3 Rockin' City blockers on the track, just 2 from Kansas City. A big apex jump from Kansas City. That was a huge apex jump, but didn't pick up the points from that. So it is no points for either team in that jam. Wow, this is epic. We are 7 jams in, and I'm just like, wow.
I think we're going to be saying that a whole lot. If you want people to say wow about you, go check out Kaya Skates, setting new standards in derby, park, and lifestyle roller skates. Now taking orders for the Kaya Kismet, the perfect park skate for $229. Out next on the jam line, who we got?
We have Bones for Kansas City up against Rugrat for Rocking City, and they're both up front around the pivot line.
Looks like Bones got shoved to the infield, forced to recycle, but only at about mid-pack, which is a huge advantage, not having to go through the offensive and defensive fray out on the track. So Bones grabs lead jammer status. Rugrat still trying to fight through, and we've got whistles being blown at turn 1.
And it is a star stash for Rugrat to get out of the pack on her initial pass, but it is, again, 4 lead jammers for each team.
And 0 points, even though Bones did have a few seconds there where she was unopposed in that pack. Calls it off before either team can get any points on the board. Rockin' City really locking it down on the defense, but again, very early in the game, only about, we're 7.5 minutes in? 8.5 minutes in. I can math.
and we're still at 13 points total, so Kansas City now on 8, Rocking City now on 5, and we're 8.5 minutes in.
Crazy. Out next on the jam line, some crazy jammers. Number 5011, Moxie Balboa, facing off against Skatel Attraction once again. Moxie wasting no time as the entire pack at a very scrummy start right off the jam line. Moxie just shoots out like she's coming from a cannon, grabs lead jammer status.
But Kansas City with a big pack disadvantage, 2 blockers in the box, and that's what happened there.
Nice footwork there by Kansas City's pivot in the front. I apologize for not being able to see the number. That I believe that is number. That might be your favorite name, Jamalama Ding Dong, if I'm not mistaken. And Kansas made it. Oh no, just joking. That was Lady Killshot. My apologies. And it looks like Kansas City does manage to get their jammer through. Both jammers now eligible to score points, but Moxie grabbing 4 and calling it off.
So 8 points for Rockin' City Rollergirls in that last jam, taking them to 13 and a lead change. So tit for tat.
That was the biggest jam in the game so far, though. 8 points. The only multiple pass jam we've seen so far. All the other ones have been one pass, real quick, take it, be done. Now, I'm a little concerned about, I was more concerned about Kansas City as we saw that one jam where 3 blockers went to the penalty box. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Right now, jammers of the right now are Bare Knuckles for Kansas City and Chola Rolla.
But it is Bare Knuckles who picked up lead jammer just as she was hit out and recycled. So Bare Knuckles out of the pack on her initial pass. Chola Rolla still stuck up at the turn 2 behind a tripod of strong Kansas City Roller Warriors.
We say stuck, but they're moving a fair bit. Now, Kansas City has had some pretty stationary defense, but this time Chola Rolla manages to push them forward a fair bit. We're almost past turn 2, and we're about 30 seconds into the jam. We have whistles being blown, direction of gameplay penalty called on Kansas City, number 77. Once again, that is Pebbles.
So Chola Rolla with the star stash and the star pass to the pivot, number 23.
And Rockin' City losing Shiner Knock to the penalty box as well. So this will start as a 3-all pack.
Yeah. But it's 4 points for Kansas City, taking them to 12. Rocking City on 13.
1 point game. Oh, my goodness. We are under the 20-minute mark, technically under the 19-minute mark. We're heading into jam number 11 if you're just tuning in.
So that's an average of just over 2 points per jam. It's like, I think it's like 2.1 or something. It's crazy.
I'm impressed by your mental math capabilities. Now on the jam line, your lead jammer for Rockin' City is Jessie Kaboom. And missed destruction for Rockin City. Kansas losing one more to the penalty box. Rockin trying to regroup. Nice offensive assist there by number 5 from Kansas, Dizzy Astor. Gets their jammer through. That was a good combo defense-offense play. 4 points for Kansas City, and they take the lead.
Yeah. Missed destruction, being hit out and recycled numerous times. But Jessica Boom just able to get that offense through, outside line empty. 4 more points like it was no thing.
Yeah, living up to her name right now for sure, with that nice little zigzag through and then just busts around the outside. Kaboom through the pack in the straightaway once again. Rockin trying to regroup with number 23 in the front. It is Fury. Cutting the track penalty called on missed destruction. So we not only have Jessie Kaboom on...
on an apex jump.
She's lead jammer on a power jam and just nailed an apex jump. So
this is a huge jam for Kansas City. I think we've actually scored more points in this jam than we have in pretty much the entire game so far.
I think you're correct.
And it's that first chance for Kansas City to open some distance between them and Rockin City, but that's a huge recycle for Jessica Boom.
Because the star fell off of her helmet. So the ref indicating that with the O shape in the hand.
But that was a good 4-5 seconds, which in this game is a big waste of time.
Well, no, they didn't waste any time. 20 points on the board for Kansas City, 4 for Rockin City. I'm actually kind of, with that penalty served by Rockin City, the fact that they were able to get points on the board, period, speaks volumes to their offensive game right there. But Kansas City can't ignore it right now. Biggest jam of the game so far, 20 points on a lead power jam. Beautiful work.
32 points for Kansas City, 17 for Rockin City, and we have 16 minutes and 23 seconds left in this half.
And once again, Kansas City jumps out with lead jammer status, this time on the heels of number 206, Bones.
And that is the 7th lead jam for Kansas against 5 for Rockin City. So we're starting to see that momentum shift to Kansas City in this game.
But not hugely. 58% lead jammer percentage for Kansas, 41 for Rockin City, 41 and some change for Rockin City. And 4 points on that first scoring pass for Bones. Second scoring pass for Bones.
And it's that offense just coming in at the right time that is breaking up the Rockin City wall.
And it's a power jam. We failed to mention that. Rugrat currently in the penalty box. So Bones just on the scoring pass as much as possible. 4 more points. Total of 12. My goodness.
But it's insidious for Rockin City, who's going to the penalty box for a multiplayer penalty.
Bones looking for some offensive help on the inside. Manages to get through. Nice hit there by 989 from Rockin City. Dimples Destroyer.
Oh, but Rugrat, unnoticed, on the inside, sneaks through with no opposition. But
I think they saw her, though. They saw her and called it off. So 3 points on that last pass for Kansas. Total of 15. 47-17. My goodness, how things have changed in the course of literally 2 jams.
Yeah.
You blink and something changes here in Derby.
Kansas City will be looking to build on that momentum shift, really try and nail down that Rockin City defense over the next couple of jams.
Up next, we've got Skatal Attraction for Kansas City jamming against Moxie Balboa. Skatal Attraction, the only jammer on the Kansas roster up until now that had not grabbed lead jammer status, but now ending that streak, her first lead jammer status of the game. And Moxie Balboa getting taken out at turn 2, forced to recycle back quite far to the apex, as Skatal Attraction on a scoring pass with 4 points.
And Rockin City not able to form a wall quick enough to hold back Skatal Attraction with the speed that she's able to generate coming into the pack.
Moxie Balboa now out of the pack and eligible to score points.
And that was 4 points for Kansas City in that jam, but nothing for Rockin City. 51 points now, playing 17. 13 minutes 50 in the game, and we have a timeout called by
Rockin City.
Yeah. I was just trying to see who it was.
This timeout is a great opportunity for us to remind you that Clover Cup is a WFTDA recognized tournament.
And it's pretty much the start of the WFTDA recognized tournament season.
Well, we had Boston. We had Lobster Roll up in Boston a couple weeks ago, and that was super fun. I think that was more of the official start, I think. But tons of other WFTDA recognized tournaments coming up throughout the year, going all the way up to East Coast Derby Extravaganza, ECDX, in June before we head into the postseason. And I know I'm excited that the postseason is now going to be featuring the championship outside of the U.S. for the first time ever. We're going to be in Montreal in November. And I know whether or not I have the honor of participating, I will be there as a fan, if nothing else, if I don't have a microphone in front of me.
I've been eyeing up flights to Montreal.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see it.
It's a beautiful
city.
America. It's a beautiful city. Yeah. Are you tired of us now? Tired of coming to America?
It was 3 planes and like 19 hours.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Things we do for roller derby. But back to the game. We have Bare Knuckles for Kansas City up against Chola Roller for Rockin City Rollergirls as the jammers. And the pack spread out between the pivot line and the jam line.
And your lead jammer is Chola Rolla. First time in a while that Rockin City has grabbed lead. You know, in that first half, they were pretty much tit for tat, one and then the other. But this is now going to be their 6th lead jam, whereas Kansas has had 8.
And there's some whistles, a large number of whistles going on. But that was a forearms penalty picked up by the Kansas City pivot at the end of that jam.
But that was a 3-point pass for Rockin City, breaking that scoreless streak. They haven't put any points on the board. Well, the last jam they didn't put any on, but in that 20-point jam, they did manage to get 4 as well. So
strategic use of a timeout to try and block that momentum building. So good use there by Rockin City.
Yeah, nicely done. And now Jessica Boom jamming for Kansas City against Miss Destruction for Rockin City.
And that is tight defense on the jam line. Both jammers having to push hard against just 2 Kansas City blockers up front, and Miss Destruction unable to get out. It's Jessica Boom who is lead jammer for Kansas City.
Jessica Boom through. And it looks like once again going to the penalty box is Miss Destruction, grabbing a 2nd jammer penalty.
And that's just opening up the door for Jessica Boom to complete that first 4-point scoring pass, and now approaching the pack for a 2nd. Some offense from Kansas City, just leaving 2 Rockin City blockers up front. Now just 1.
Now Jessica Boom responsible for 20 of Kansas City's points thus far. Let's make that 24 with that pass. I make that 28, excuse me. 59-20, Kansas in the lead with under 12 minutes left, and Miss Destruction is back into the fray.
Yeah.
As number 48 from Rockin City, Monizy, manages to pull a call off by Kansas.
So 10 points for Kansas City, taking them to 61 points, 20 for Rockin City Rollergirls. 11 and a half minutes left in this first half. This is shot by. I cannot believe we're nearly 20 minutes into this game. It is so much fun to watch.
It's this little derby time warp that happens. And it looks like we have a timeout on the track. I believe this is an official timeout.
It is. So it's an opportunity to talk to you about Ruby Ribbon. Bras are the worst.
Oh my God, aren't they?
Oh God. Ditch your bra and get the comfort and support in a cami without annoyance of bras and underwires. I think that may be my mantra for life now.
Bras are the worst.
Bras are the worst.
I had a very recent Twitter discussion with some people about finding the proper size. And, you know, if you don't have to wear one, then you don't have to worry about finding the proper size. So why not?
Genuinely, I use it as a decider on whether I'm going to go to the thing that I'm supposed to go
put
to.
On a bra?
Do I have to put on a bra? Am I willing to put on a bra?
Yeah, you don't have to. Nobody's going to make you, I guess. So Rugrat, of course, gets her name from the 1990s show Rugrats.
Love Rugrats.
Couldn't make up her mind on which character she wanted to take her name after, so she just said, I'll take them all. It's fine.
And the official timeout has come to an end. So we're about to get back on with the game. 5 seconds just been called.
So Bones out on the line for Kansas City going up against Rugrats.
And it's Bones up front, Rugrat at the back of the pack. And we now have an empty penalty box, so all blockers back on track.
So,
this is solid defense on turn 1. Nobody's going anywhere. But that's a multiplayer block penalty for Kansas City.
as Black Mamba heading to the penalty box. And very tight defense at turn 1 for about 30 seconds. We still don't have a lead jammer. Oh, and as soon as I say something, Rugrat is called as your lead. Looks like Bones took a tumble there at turn 2, but did manage to get through. And does not look like she feels pain-free by any means. Back blocking penalty called on Rugrat. So now tables have turned. Power jam for Bones, who has not made that initial pass yet thanks to this staunch defense by Rockin City, and Bones is looking tired. Or it just hurt. Yeah. That fall she took at turn 2 was pretty gnarly. I think it may have knocked the wind out of her.
Yeah. But she's back up and out of the pack, so still motoring on.
Now eligible to score points, and Rugrat is still sitting, so opportunity here to grab some points unopposed.
But Rugrat is now standing in the penalty box.
Beautiful offensive assist there, by Black Mamba, clearing some space on lane 4 so that Bones could just glide on by. And does it again.
Rugrat approaching the back of the pack from the penalty box.
Nice job on Kansas there, shifting from offense to defense pretty quickly. And Kansas trapping number 989, Dimples Destroya, in the back of the pack for a significant portion of that jam. Rugrat, however, gets through for 4 points.
Bones has also completed her second scoring pass, but we are going to go to the full jam, so 3 seconds left. And we'll wait to see the extra points that are being added, as both jammers are in the pack at the end of that jam.
Looks like 3 points on that last pass for Kansas City and 2 for Rockin City. So even with a penalty, Rugrat manages to get 6 points on the board, and Bones with a very hard-fought 11 points. And now we hear in the venue the Rugrats theme song being played.
So Kansas City Roller Warriors now on 72, Rockin City Roller Girls on 26. 8 and a bit minutes left in this half.
Out next on the jam line, we have Skatel Attraction for Kansas City and Moxie Balboa for Rockin City.
And it's
Skatel Attraction up in the front, fighting through that 2 wall, does manage to grab lead jammer status, as that last line of defense for Rockin City had to let her go.
But that is we're now on turn 2, and it is still Moxie Balboa in the pack. Skatel Attraction, given the middle, cleared the middle by Kansas City to skate through for 4 easy points.
Kansas doing some interesting things here on the offense and defensive side. Again, trying to trap, but with only 2 blockers on the track from Rockin City, Moxie really had to work for that. Now makes an initial pass thanks to a star stash and is off to the races along with one of the blockers who just came out of the box. That is Frankie Stein.
So Skatel Attraction sees the danger, calls the jam, but that's 8 points for Kansas City, taking them to 80.
Rockin City at 26 as we have 7.5 minutes left in the first half. We've had Kansas City with 9 lead jammer statuses, Rockin City with 7.
Kansas able to do those multiple scoring passes, which is the reason for the points differential. Rockin City Kansas City not letting their jammers do multiple passes.
Now we have Cholarola facing off against Bare Knuckles for their respective teams, and it looks like multiplayer block penalty being called in the front of the pack on Rockin City.
But it's Kansas City holding back Cholarola on turn 1, but Bare Knuckles able to push out to turn 2, and just as I say that, the pack speeds up, and we're now on the straightaway between turns 2 and 3.
And Bare Knuckles grabs lead jammer status with that speedy pack. Cholarola trying to take advantage of the chaos and does manage to zigzag past that last blocker in the front. I believe that was
Lady Killshot. That was some great one-on-one defense from Lady Killshot.
I don't know why I keep wanting to assign a different number to Lady Killshot, but repeatedly I've looked at her and gone, oh, it's this number. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's just 01. Why do I keep doing that?
And it's a pity because Lady Killshot's having a really good game.
She really is. And we have a timeout called by Rockin City. That is their second timeout of the game.
So it's a chance to talk about sideline sports. Sports medicine specialists Lindsay Dietrich, MD, and Sarah Kennedy, DO, are dedicated to helping active individuals and athletes who are injured return to their optimal level of performance. From pediatric sports injuries and issues facing all athletes to broken bones and concussions, we aim to address each individual's unique condition and needs. Let us help you unleash the power of Go. I need the power of Go in my life.
Do you? I think you need the power of Go for sure. Well, you know where you should go is to Resurrection Skates, located right here in Denton, Texas. They pride ourselves on excellent knowledge and customer service for derby gear. That's Resurrection Skates. And as we move forward with all of the action on the track, we talked about Bones having a pretty decent game so far, in addition to Lady Killshot, who has been a pretty rock star blocker out here on the track. Lady Killshot's been doing this for 7 years, started playing derby in 2012, and is a former USAR's Team USA member, and now you can see why.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah. The skill that she's able to bring on track is just phenomenal.
Absolutely. And Bones is back after a 4-year hiatus. This is her first season coming back after that hiatus, but she seems to have lost absolutely no momentum.
Nope.
And now this team timeout has turned into an official timeout out on the track.
So 6 minutes 22 left in this half. So much has gone on. We had that really, really tight start. Then we had a couple of big jams from Kansas City, and Rockin City just trying to steal that momentum away from them. So it's probably no wonder they're checking everything out and making sure everything's been correct and proper.
Well, and this counts for ranking. So Rockin City trying to prove something here.
Yeah.
And out on the jam line now we have number 4, Jessica Boom for Kansas City.
That was just offense, just heaven.
Beautiful, beautiful offense. And now Miss Destruction looking for a little offensive help. Kansas City sending their pivot to the penalty box as Jessica Boom gets through for 4 points.
And it's Miss Destruction who is also out of the pack at the apex of turns 1 and 2. Jessica Boom with a big apex jump attempt, doesn't land it, and is hit out and recycled to the inside. But taking the decision to go long, Miss Destruction now on a scoring pass.
Destruction call on Rockin City's pivot number 48. That is Monizy.
But Jessica Boom recovers from that apex jump and recycle out of the pack. So both jammers scoring. Kansas City's Jessica Boom on 2 scoring passes now.
And now Miss Destruction on 2 scoring passes as well. So we are catching up with one another here. Jessica Boom, I think the only jammer that has attempted apex jumps so far in this game. 1 landed, 1 not. And now Kansas City ahead by 4. Just joking. We're going to tie it up.
So Kansas City are about half a track ahead. So Jessica Boom, half the track ahead of Miss Destruction. Both jammers for the last few passes able to get through without sort of opposition.
Cutting the track penalty being called on Miss Destruction. So this is going to turn into a power jam for your lead jammer, Jessica Boom, who has already put 20 points on the board, now about to pass the highest scoring jam of the game so far. And she does with a duck to the outside at turn 4. Beautifully done by Jessica Boom.
Yeah, and it's the offense from Kansas City Roller Warriors, the blockers, that is just making this beautiful to watch. And Jessica Boom able to just pick up the points. And she's had enough.
And Jessica Boom, the lead point scorer for Kansas City right now, responsible for 24 points on that last jam. Holy cow. 26 points on that last jam. Excuse me. Sending Kansas over the century mark, but Rockin City not to be outdone by too much. Miss Destruction gets 14 points even with a penalty, which I feel like I've said that this many points even with a penalty quite a bit.
Jessica Boom is responsible for half of Kansas City Roller Warriors points.
Yes, more than half. 56 total of Kansas City's 110. Rockin City at 40. Now jamming a familiar face, Lady Killshot, who I don't think we've seen her jam.
No, very much seen her have a great game in the pack, but just what technique on that scoring pass.
Beautiful footwork and nice agility there. Just gliding through, it makes it look so easy, you know? Rockin City, nice follow through there. Good teamwork. They got a 4-on-1 trying to hold back Lady Killshot, and the destruction penalty called on Rockin City's pivot as Killshot grabs 4 more points.
But Miss Destruction in a tangle in the pack. Back on turn 2 as Lady Killshot skates through on the inside. 4 more points for Kansas City.
Her foot positioning on turn 2 was really beautiful right there. Staked her claim.
Yeah.
I don't know what the past tense of stake is. Really claimed that space on lane 1 with a nice wide stance and leans into the block from the opposing player and then shifts her hips around the incoming block. Beautifully done by Lady Killshot.
Textbook. So if you are watching this for footage and sort of experience, just
rewind,
rewind,
pause, frame by frame. That's technique right there. 4 more points for Lady Killshot, now at 16.
But Kansas City now have only got 2 blockers on track, and that shows the star pass for Rockin City means that they have completed their initial pass. Red Ripper now jamming for Rockin City. And Kansas City see the danger, call the jam, but 20 points for Kansas City in that jam. That was beautiful.
It was beautifully done and masterfully as well. So pivots can jam sometimes when they need to, for sure. And Kansas City showing us how it's done there. Multiple pass jams here. We're 130 to 40 with less than 2 minutes left on the period clock for the first half. We're heading into jam number 21. What a game, holy moly.
Oh, I'm just loving this. Rugrat on the jam line for Rockin City. Skatal attraction for Kansas City. And it is both teams with just 3 blockers on track. And it is Rugrat who picks up lead jammer. Hit out, but is able to pick up and carry on. Skatal attraction now just out of the pack on turn 2, but is half the track behind Rugrat.
Rugrat using her blockers. Nice offensive assist there by Rockin City, clearing some space on the inside line, and Rugrat just jumped over them.
But we have a fast pack, but it's Rockin City with 4 blockers on track, but not able to hold back Skatal attraction. Skatal attraction using that speed.
Her ankle did funny things on that turn, so I'm really glad that it didn't go further than what it did. Right there at the apex. But Rugrat calling it off after being taken out. And I will say one thing that Kansas City was doing in that last jam that was really impressive to me is, and they've done this a couple times now, when they haven't had lead, they've done a good job of really speeding up the pack in order to break up the defense from the other team. And it has worked masterfully for them in order to just get that jammer through. So they don't even have to hit that hard in order to provide that offensive assist. They can when they need to, but when they don't have lead, shoot, wear them out. Why not?
Rockin City's Moxie Balboa on the jam line and lead jammer. It's Kansas City's Bare Knuckles in the pack still on turn 1. That was a sprint for lead by Moxie, who is in the pack on her scoring pass.
Very divided pack currently, with the exception of Pebbles, who slides forward to try and provide a little offense right there in the front. Beautifully done. Star Stash to get through the pack for Bare Knuckles.
But that smart knowledge of Bare Knuckles, that the Rockin City blocker went out so she could just pick up and carry on.
Star Stash to get through on that initial pass. And that's going to be the end of the first half. Woo, woo, woo.
I feel a little bit breathless because it's just been so exciting to watch. So Rockin City Rollergirls go into halftime on 51 points. Kansas City Roller Warriors, 134 points.
Beautiful first half, and we're going to see if Rockin City can pick up some more of this momentum that we started to see toward the latter half of the first half here.
But I think it's Kansas City who are controlling the pack. And that is the story of this first half. That is confirmation we are intermission, so we will be back in about 14 minutes. Mm-hmm. So although I think on YouTube they'll probably go straight to the second half.
Right? Yeah. Through the miracle of television, we're going to go immediately into the second half. But we're here in a minute. We're going to phase out and go check out some of our lovely sponsors that we have here. And you are watching Clover Cup 2019. This is the Kansas City Roller Warriors versus Rockin City Roller Girls. I'm Scarlett Ahurtia.
I'm Dork Mistress.
And we'll be back at you here in a few minutes. Responsive defense, and we're responsive both. Ready, Ben? Are we live?
So welcome back to Game 2 of the Clover. Cup here in Dallas, Texas, home of the Dallas Derby Devils. I'm Dork Mistress.
I'm Scarlett Hurtya.
So the first half, if you were watching, it was so much fun. We had such a really tight start. The first sort of 10, 15 minutes, it was tit for tat, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But then what did we see?
Then we saw a whole lot of Kansas City running away with the scoreboard with some multi-pass jams, 20 points, 20 points, 24 points, 15 points, so on and so forth. And a lot of those came from Jessica Boom.
Yeah.
From Kansas City, who is responsible for 56 of Kansas City's 134 points thus far, followed by Bones with 28, Lady Killshot with 20, Skatal Attraction with 16, and Bare Knuckles with 14.
And you can really see the story of the game in the team points per jam. So Rockin City 2.3 points per jam, but Kansas City 6.1 points per jam, and that is the story.
Well, and especially because especially at the beginning, we saw several zero-scoring jams and lots of 1 point, 2 points, and that's it. It was really toward the middle of the first half where Kansas City just offensively ran away with the scoreboard. Yeah. However, Rocket City's defense has had little shimmers of brilliance here and there, and Kansas City, their offense and their defense has been really awake and on it today. So what do you think Rockin City is going to have to do to counteract that Kansas City?
So I think Kansas City have been able to just blast apart Rockin City's formations when they've wanted to. So I think it's going to have to be Rockin City just saying, no, you're not going to come in and bust us up. We're going to brush that off. We're going to reform in front of you. That's what we need to see. But the other challenge we're going to have in the second half, Kansas City have got 3 skaters on 4 penalties. I mean, all blockers. So we haven't got any sort of jammer danger, but that's quite penalty heavy for halftime. Rockin City have just got 1 blocker on 4 penalties and a couple of blockers on 3. But it's been, I mean, we have seen jammer penalties, but they just haven't been that influential in the game.
Well, we say that, but if you look at the jammer penalties for Rockin City, they have 2 jammers with 2 jammer penalties. And then Red Ripper, who has served as the pivot and has received a star pass, has 4 penalties. So and she's the one player that has 4 penalties on the Rockin City side. On the Kansas City side, you only have 1 blocker, that is Lady Killshot, who has 2 penalties. All the other jammers have 0 penalties, and Lady Killshot grabbed those 2 as a pivot, not as a jammer. Yeah. So Kansas City's jammers really playing it clean and staying out of the box, and that accounts for so many of those multi-pass jams, those double-digit high-scoring things that have really spread things out. We're about to start jam number 1 here in the second half. 134-51 is where we left things off in the first half.
And so I really want to see Rockin City come out after halftime with a strategy on how to deal with the Kansas City offense. That's what I want to see in the second half. I think Rockin City absolutely have the potential to do that and really close down this gap. I mean, they are almost 40 ranks below Kansas City in the WFTDA rankings. But this is a great opportunity for them to try and close that gap in rankings and points.
Yeah, and they can't let that scoreboard intimidate them. I have seen some come from behind stuff happen here and there. Kansas City is on the rebuild, so Rockin City has a golden opportunity here. But first out, Skatal Attraction taking advantage of the opportunity to grab lead jammer status as Moxie Balboa still fighting through at turn 1.
And so Skatal Attraction in the pack on a scoring pass. Moxie Balboa still stuck behind a full wall of Kansas City Roller Warrior blockers. Star Stash to try and get out 1 blocker up front, and
Lady Killshot with the footwork there.
But that is Moxie Balboa out of the pack, but Skatal Attraction on a second scoring pass.
Skatal Attraction takes a hard fall in the straightaway after turn 2, grabs 4 points, and then calls it off before Moxie can put any points on the board. Total of 8 on the jam for Kansas City, 142-51. 29 minutes left in the second half.
And I think we're just seeing the repeat of the second half of the first half in this jam. You know, we've seen the same stuff that we've seen for the last 15 minutes. So really want Rockin City to think about how they're going to change that up in the next couple of jams.
One jammer that has the opportunity to do that is who Rockin City has fielded right now. That is Chola Rolla. Although Chola, one of the few jammers on the Rockin City side that does not have any jammer penalties thus far.
Yeah. up against Bare Knuckles for Kansas City. Both jammers in the pack on the apex between turns 1 and 2. And it's a hit out and recycle on Bare Knuckles to almost the pivot line.
And there's Cholarola grabbing lead jammer status as Lady Killshot sent to the penalty box for a multiplayer block penalty. However, Bare Knuckles not far behind.
A quarter of the track behind Cholarola, who is now in the pack, scoring points, sees the danger, calls the jam. 3 points for Rockin City.
Danger! Anytime you say I see danger, I just want to go, Will Robinson.
So that's 142 for Kansas City, playing 54 for Rockin City. 27 minutes, 50 seconds left in this game.
Number 4 for Kansas City is out on the jam line. That is Jessica Boom, responsible for 56 of their points so far. And then for Rockin City, that is Rugrat, who currently is responsible for 13 of Rockin City's points right now, tied for second place on point scoring for Rockin City.
Both teams with a blocker in the box, but it's Rockin City who get back to a full pack first.
Rockin City trying to lock down that tripod in the front and swallow up Jessica Boom, but Jessica Boom is such an explosive jammer that it is really hard to contain her in that type of formation. There really are some other strategies they could have employed to hold her back, and Jessica Boom manages to get through for lead jammer status.
But Rugrat is on turn 2, but still faces 3 Kansas City Roller Warriors. And Jessica Boom just booms through.
Right, that was a wide open space. Nicely done. Kansas City doing a good job of containing their pack and whoever they're blocking into 2 or 3 lanes of the track, making plenty of space for Jessica Boom to get through.
Yeah. It's just, and they are doing defense and offense at the same time. I know we say that's the thing about the sport, but that's actually
how it works
at the same time.
Number 101 from Rockin City being sent to the penalty box. That is Kellerella DeVille.
So that's the 3rd scoring pass for Jessica Boom, taking Kansas City to 12 points in this jam. Fury still in the pack now on the apex between turn 3 and 4, still on her initial pass. And that's a hit out and recycle. That
was a beautiful hit there by Jessica Boom, and doing her own offensive work, shrugging off, I believe that was Rugrat, actually.
Yeah. So that's 4 scoring passes for Kansas City. Just breaks through that wall up front.
And I don't know if we called it, but Star Pass. Fury has taken over as the scoring person on the Rockin City side.
Still not able to get through, but we're now on turn 4, almost at the jam line. So this is an entire lap for the Rockin City jammers with that star pass. That's hard work.
I saw Dylan holding up a forearm call. Looks like that's going to be called on number 789, Insidious from Rockin City.
But 24 points for Kansas City in the last jam, taking them to 166 points. Rockin City on 54, 25 minutes left in this game.
Now up on the jam line, we have 2 of the top scoring jammers for their respective teams. Miss Destruction, responsible for 22 of Rockin City's points thus far, and Bones for Kansas City is responsible for 28. And Miss Destruction up in the front of the pack just has to get past those last 2 jammers. But then you see Kansas City regroup. Beautiful box formation on the inside. Not needing to do any rotation because Miss Destruction is trying the plow-through defense, whereas Bones doing the fast footwork and lots of turning. But it looks like persistence pays off as Miss Destruction is now your lead jammer for Rockin City.
But Bones is only quarter of the track behind, also out of the pack. Miss Destruction scoring points in the pack. Hits it and quits it. And that was 3 points for Rockin City in that last jam.
I think anytime that you're behind and you can call when the other team doesn't have a chance to get any points on the board, that's part of how Kansas City got to where they are right now.
And this next jam brought to you by Pro Design. Since 1986, Pro Design Inc. continues to manufacture 100% made world-class protective products right out of Houston, Texas. Texas built, Texas tough. All right, and yeehaw from Texas. And I apologize to the entire state of Texas.
I had to make her do that. I had to. Because it's great. Out next on the jam line, Skatel Attraction, facing up against Moxie Balboa. we gotta have some fun with it, guys. We're in Texas. We gotta have be silly with it, and make fun of the stereotypes as much as we can. And when you put a European in the situation
Texas,
where they can do that, there you go. And now your lead jammer is Skatal Attraction for Kansas City. Moxie Balboa not far behind, as once again Kansas City losing their pivot to the penalty box. That's once again Lady Killshot. Cutting the track penalty called on Moxie Balboa. Skatal Attraction lead jammer on a power jam.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
They rescinded the cutting the track penalty and dubbed it a no pass, no penalty.
Yep. So that's both jammers back on track. Skatal Attraction on third scoring pass, but Moxie Balboa...
Looks like an out-of-play block called on number 7, 8, 9 from Kansas City. That is Insidious.
But it's also Dimples Destroyer who is going for a penalty, freeing up Moxie Balboa out of the pack.
Oh, and look at this. This is a power jam for Rockin City. The first jammer penalty for Skatal Attraction.
And it is Kansas City defense that is trying to just eat up that power jam time. Moxie Balboa hit out on turn 4 and recycled.
Moxie, I'm really impressed with her as a jammer overall, but she needs more offensive assistance.
Yeah.
And Rockin City's trying to give it to her right now, but I feel like that things are happening a lot slower than they probably should be.
There needs to be a bit more get up and go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, from both, I think both from Moxie and from her blockers.
Yes.
I need to see quicker footwork. I need to see jumping back on track. And it's just taking a bit too long, and that's giving Kansas City the time to reform and, just deny those breakthroughs that Rockin City want. But both teams picking up points in that last jam. Rockin City 8 points, Kansas City 11. So Rockin City not able to take advantage of that power jam. 177 now playing 65, and we have 21 and a half minutes left in this game.
And we have a timeout called on the track.
Yeah. That's an official timeout that's been called.
Who is this official timeout brought to us by?
It is brought to us by Atom Skates. High quality skates for affordable pricing. Something for everyone at Atom Skates.
See lots of Atom Skates out on the track for sure. And we got hugs on the track as well. There's just this magic that happens in between whistles somehow.
And so that official timeout comes to an end. So we're going to get underway in just a moment. So the next game, because we are, starting to head towards the next game. Oh.
So game 4 is going to be at 4 o'clock our time. But for those of you that are watching on the broadcast, this is game 2. Just joking. Next game's going to be at 2 o'clock. And it's game 3, Pikes Peak taking on Panhandle United.
So we have Chola Roller for Rockin City on the jam line up against Bare Knuckles. We've seen this pairing quite a few times in I think I think of this game. And it's usually Bare Knuckles that just get in the better. But Chola Roller is out front and picks up lead. You see, I really shouldn't open my mouth sometimes.
Why?
Because I have announcers curse in the worst way.
You say something and then the opposite happens?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well,
but Rockin City will be very happy with that. It is 4 points for them.
Does announcer curse apply to things that are not happening on the track?
No, sadly.
Like if we said we don't have any food in front of us right now, it's lunchtime, would food magically appear?
No.
Dang.
There's no food.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. But that's 4 important points for Rockin City, taking them to 73. So 20 minutes left in this game. And it is on the jam line.
That's
number 5 for Kansas City.
That's a new jammer for them. That is Dizzy Astor, who's been blocking and doing a phenomenal job at blocking thus far. Now grabs lead jammer status in that first turn with the star.
And it is number 1990.
Rugrats.
Yeah. And it's Rugrat who has lead jammer.
No, it is. That's Dizzy Astor who has lead.
Yeah.
They've mislabeled it on the board because they didn't have Dizzy Astor's name on the scoreboard. Yeah. So that's causing a little bit of confusion here.
Yeah.
But
I'm easily confused. But Rugrat has completed their initial pass. Oh, it's a high block for Rugrat. So we are now in a power jam for Dizzy Astor.
Who calls it off immediately.
I have an admission. I have only just worked out Dizzy Arster's name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we are 40 minutes into this game. Yeah. There are days you just think maybe
she intended for that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like people go,
yeah. So 4 points for Kansas City, 181, and they will be starting with a power start, and it is number 4, Jessica Boom. How can I not know that number 4 is
Jessica Boom.
No surprise that in a power start you put Jessica Boom on the jam line, and it will be Rugrats who, when they exit the penalty box, who will be jamming for Rockin City, and Jessica Boom, lead jammer in 8 seconds.
In a very familiar position here as lead jammer, and has 60% lead jammer status for Jessica Boom.
So offense from Kansas City to give her the back of the pack lane free, and then an apex jump around the Rockin City blockers to pick up the points. That was beautiful.
Rockin City doing a good job of trying to take up that whole track, but doing a lot of the linear defense versus that teamwork and I have magnets on me. I'm going to magnetically adhere myself to my teammates.
But
trying to reform here, making a shape. Rubby-dubby, make a shape.
But I was just really impressed with number 42, Red Ripper from Rockin City, who jumped back to force that recycle so quick.
Good awareness there. And we currently have one Rockin City player with 5 penalties. That is Insidious, who has been a powerhouse blocker thus far. And we have a star pass
to Red Ripper.
There you go.
Yeah. And Red Ripper at the back of the pack, able to score points, but at the moment has the helmet cover in her hand, putting it back on.
Those can be tricky sometimes.
But Jessica Boom gets through the entire pack and picks up 4 points in the time that Red Ripper managed to get that helmet cover on.
16 points total for Jessica Boom so far on the jam. But look at this. Red Ripper grabbing 4 on that first scoring pass.
So Jessica Boom still lead jammer, so has the ability to call off the jam. But Kansas City, I think, quite happy to play this long, because, the points, the differential is showing 16, so 4 passes for Kansas City to 1 for Rockin City. And Jessica Boom now completes 5 scoring passes.
Jessica Boom with the highest points per jam in the game, aside from Lady Killshot, who only started as a jammer once. But overall, as part of the regular Kansas City jammer rotation, 71% lead jammer status, 56 points. We're going to add a bunch to that now, make that 20.
So that's 201 points for Kansas City, breaking through that 200. Rockin City Rollergirls on 78, picking up 5 in that last jam. 16 and a half minutes left in this game. This game, the points differential does not show how fast this is moving and how interesting it is.
Absolutely, and I'm interested in these jammers out on the track. We have Skatal Attraction facing off against Miss Destruction. Miss Destruction is currently responsible for 25 points and a cutting the track penalty and a forearm for Kansas City's Skatal Attraction. So we're going to do the jammer do-si-do out of the penalty box. Excuse me, I can talk.
The jammer hokey cokey.
Hokey cokey?
Yeah.
You don't call it the hokey pokey, it's the hokey cokey?
It's the hokey cokey.
Oh.
Hokey pokey sounds a bit rude.
Culture is fun.
Yeah.
And now on the jam line, we have both jammers back into the fray after all of 2 seconds in the penalty box. And pack getting very spread out, both laterally and across the track. Yeah. I don't want to say vertically, but
it's just forming up now on turn 3, moving to turn 4.
Nice dodge there by Miss Destruction after a nice attempted hit there by Jam-a-lamma ding-dong on that hit.
So this will go the full 2 minutes, so we're 1 minute left in this jam. Both jammers on scoring passes.
And we've got 1 blocker apiece in the penalty box.
Yeah, so this is going to be a big jam, potentially for Rockin City, because Miss Destruction is in the lead.
By about half a track.
So it's going to be how much can Kansas City break up the Rockin City wall.
Well, and if you look at what they're doing right now, both teams taking a similar offensive strategy, just trying to cause as much chaos as possible and make those blockers one-offs on the track. Kansas City doing a little bit of a better job grouping up there at the front, and that manages to give Skatal Attraction the opportunity to catch up. So now Miss Destruction and Skatal Attraction are literally toe-to-toe right next to each other as they hit that pack.
But Miss Destruction with a big sprawl to the floor, taking a little time to get back up, but Skatal Attraction also hit out and recycled in this time. So I agree. It's just trying to cause the chaos, break it up, hit people out.
And that's the jam. You can
Yeah.
tell they were working for that, though. Both jammers kind of slowing it down, pacing themselves, if you will. Looks like Kansas City going to come out on top of that one, 10-9.
Yep.
Total score 211-87. We have 14 minutes left in the game.
That was hard work for both jammers, but it was really exciting to watch strategically. Like that whole point where Skater Attraction was able to catch up on Miss Destruction. It was like a bit, like hand in mouth going, ah!
Out on the jam line now, we've got Moxie Balboa facing off against Bare Knuckles. Bare Knuckles responsible for 14 of Kansas's points thus far.
And it is Bare Knuckles who comes out lead jammer. And we have a star pass for Rockin City. So Moxie Balboa has now handed over to number 989, Dimples Destroyer, who is approaching the pack on a scoring pass. So Bare Knuckles sees the danger and calls that jam. It's 4 points for Kansas City, nothing for Rockin City. 13 minutes left in this game. 215 is playing at 87. So this next jam is going to be brought to you by Bont Skates. Bont Skates, lighter, stronger, faster. Check out our new park stars to fit all of your park and lifestyle needs.
So out next on the jam line, we have the top point scorer for Kansas, who I believe is responsible for about 76 points of Kansas's total thus far, going up against Chola Rolla, who is part of the regular Rockin City jammer rotation.
Yeah.
Rockin City doing a good job of staying clustered this time and not getting real spread out to try and take up that space on the track. Beautiful attempt at an offensive assist there by number 5 from Kansas City, Dizzy Astor.
But not able to break up that Rockin City pack, which is really good news for Rockin City, because Kansas City offense has been really devastating, but they're getting the hang of it now.
And we've got Jessica Boom in a very familiar position as your lead jammer.
But Chola Roller is quarter of the track behind.
Jessica Boom tries to duck under the pivot from Rockin City and manages to take them out. That is number 23, Fury.
Yeah.
Nice hit there by Black Mamba, taking out Frankie Stein.
Both jammers in the pack on turn 3 now, and it's Jessica Boom out front against, and just trying to, just brutal blocks against the Rockin City blockers and pushes through.
But Rockin City, I think their downfall on that last formation at least was that one-on-one defense as opposed to grouping together.
Yeah.
Jessica Boom is far too powerful of a jammer to do one-on-one.
Absolutely. Rockin City were able to hold her back when they were together. But when they split up to do that one-on-one bridge to the front, just didn't work.
But look at this this defense here really coming together as Chola Rolla now even with Jessica Boom with 4 points apiece. Cutting the track called on number 41 from Kansas City. That is Mayhem Myers.
So that's giving Rockin City the blocker advantage as Jessica Boom approaches the back of the pack on her 3rd scoring pass.
But Chola Rolla not far behind on a scoring pass as well. Jam is called by Jessica Boom, and looks like both of them come away with points on that last pass, but Chola Rolla with 2 and Kansas City with 3.
So it
4,
is
4 points. So 12-10 on the jam, 227-97. Kansas City in the lead.
10.5 minutes left in this game. And again, I just feel a bit breathless because just the action is so exciting.
So much excite.
Yeah. So on the jam line, we have Rugrat for Rockin City up against Bones for Kansas City. I mean, I know we talk a lot about Jessica Boom, but Bones has been so solid in this game.
Absolutely.
And shows it again. Toe stops on the inside line. Lead jammer for Bones and Kansas City. Rugrat still in the pack up on turn 1, and it's a hit out and recycle from the Kansas City Roller Warriors. And Bones just hops, skips, and jumps through the pack to complete for 4 points.
No big deal. Let me hop, skip, and jump right on through here.
While on wheels. I mean, I could do that, but, not with wheels on. And it was, again, just control and footwork from Bones on the inside. Looked like she may be able to stay on track, but we have a star pass from Rockin City. Fury picking up the helmet cover from Rugrat. And Bones sees the danger, calls the jam, and it is a multiplayer block for Dimple's Destroyer at the end of that jam, but it's 7 points for Kansas City.
Now, we've got a few blockers, and we have a few players, period, that are starting to get in a little bit of penalty trouble. Rockin' City has 2 with 5, including Shiner Knock and Insidious, who have been powerhouses of their defense thus far. And then on the Kansas City side, 1 blocker with 5, Mayhem Myers currently. We've got a couple with 4, including Lady Killshot, who has filled in both as pivot and jammer, in addition to Dizzy Aster and Pebbles. And before I can finish talking about all that and give you lead jammer names, or give you jammer names, period, we have lead jammer going to Rockin' City with Moxie Balboa.
But first time on the jam line, we have Jamalama Ding Dong for Kansas City.
That is such a great name.
Oh, it's such a fabulous name.
And it's fun to say, and it sounds even better when you say it, because that accent just makes everything better. Jamalama Ding Dong, out of the pack and eligible to score points.
See how much fun that is?
Try it at home.
Moxie Balboa in the pack, trying to pick up the points. Does pick up the 4 points in that jam, and Kansas City and Jamalama Ding Dong denied. So that's 101 Rockin' City breaking through the 100 barrier, 234 for Kansas City, 8 minutes left.
And these are unfamiliar. I mean, well, not totally unfamiliar, but we have number 1040 for Kansas City, jamming the Skatel Attraction, going up against Miss Destruction for Rockin' City.
Miss Destruction has had a good game and has been able to push through, I think, at times when other Rockin' City jammers have been a bit stuck.
Yeah.
And showing that by pushing out up front with a hit out and lead jammer. So I think was just checking the position that she could carry on. Lead jammer to Miss Destruction.
Black Mamba sent to the penalty box in addition to 2 of Rockin' City's players, as Skatel Attraction now out of the pack and eligible to score points. Kansas City attempts to regroup with their pack advantage 3-2.
And it is a penalty.
Illegal contact is what I think they're calling on Miss Destruction.
Yeah.
And she is the jammer on Rockin' City side that has the most jammer penalties, aside from those accepting a star pass.
So it is now a full 2-minute jam. Skatel Attraction completing a second scoring pass in this power jam situation. And it is also Rockin' City with 1 blocker as well as Miss Destruction in the penalty box. And that could be crucial in this jam.
That was a nice tag team by Rockin' City in the front. Looks like we're having whistles blown. Forearm being called on Rockin' City, number 989, Dimple's Destroyer, who I know we just called in the penalty box not long ago.
But that was really effective working with Corella the Ville.
Oh, and Miss Destruction takes a spill. Forced to recycle back to turn 3 along with Black Mamba and number 5000 Baby Buster.
But best wish for Rockin' City back on track. So Rockin' City now with just 1 blocker in the penalty box. A Skatel Attraction approaching the pack for 4th scoring pass.
And we have a star pass. Rockin' City handing over scoring duties along with 4 points to number 42, Red Ripper.
Red Ripper looking to engage Skatel Attraction. Skatel Attraction goes, nah, fam. I'm just going to call it. So that was 16 points for Kansas City. 3, though, for Rockin' City Rollergirls. 104 for Rockin' City. 250 for Kansas City. 5.5 minutes left in this game.
That gives us a great opportunity to thank some more of our sponsors, including Blood and Thunder. Visit the Blood and Thunder website for roller derby inspired apparel and accessories. Their motto is "Life is better on roller skates." Check out Blood and Thunder.
So Chola Roller on the line for Rockin' City up against number 27 for Kansas, which is Bare Knuckles.
Rawr.
Again, we've seen Bare Knuckles and Chola Roller face off a number of times during this.
I feel like
game.
there's a joke in there somewhere because Bare Knuckles and Chola think, well, that's probably an American. Never mind. Back to the action on the track. Just remembered cultural context. Back to the action on the track. We now have Chola Rolla trying to pick off those Kansas City defenders one after another, and does. Grabs lead jammer status. Here is the defense that Rockin' City has needed to employ the entire time, where they have that tight tripod locking down Bare Knuckles in the back of the pack. We have a direction of gameplay penalty called on Kansas City.
But you're absolutely right about the Rockin City defense, and I think if they can take one thing away from this game today, I hope it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they'll go through this in footage review, and it'll be about how can they keep a shape, any shape.
Keep a shape, make a shape.
Yeah, and just stop Kansas City from busting them up. And it's just so effective. We're now on turn 3, and Bare Knuckles hasn't completed her initial pass, which is something we've not seen from Rockin City through most of this game. Chola Roller pushing out front, pushing out number 77 Pebbles, and completes that second scoring pass. So 7 points now for Rockin City in this jam. Has had enough, and it's called. So I think this is the first jam in a long time where Kansas City hasn't picked up any points.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So great work from Rockin City. 3.5 minutes left in this game. 250 playing 111.
3.5 minutes left in the game. We are in jam number 15. And here in the second half, we've seen a lot more long jams as opposed to the very quick, like less than 30-second jams that we saw in the first half. Because right now we're only in jam number 16 with 3 minutes left, and we got well into the 20s in the first half.
And I think that's because of the strength of the Kansas City defense has let jams go long, and just the strength that Jessica Boom, lead jammer in this jam for Kansas City, as we have come to expect, has enabled those jams to go long. But Rugrat jamming for Rockin City is now out of the pack, and is about half of the track behind Jessica Boom, who is, a lovely dip on the outside to complete that 4-point scoring pass. Rugrat hit out in the pack, but is able to push past just 3 Kansas City Roller Warriors to complete a 4-point scoring pass themselves. Jessica Boom following the bench direction to run this. Oh no, Jessica Boom now in the penalty box
for cutting the track penalty, and that is the first penalty for Jessica Boom in the entire game.
Wow.
And she's jammed 10 times now.
And scored all of those points, and has been such a game changer. So this is Rugrat's opportunity to put some points on the board, and is doing that in the pack now for third scoring pass.
Rugrat could approach matching her total points for the game thus far. She's had 16.
Wow.
So good opportunity here, and now Jessica Boom back into the fray. And stumbles through the pack. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be inside, and manages to grab 4 points on that pass.
Rugrat just having one big Kansas City Roller Warriors sprawl in front, taken down to the floor, but is back up just as Jessica Boom pushes through for 4 more points.
And we have a low block called on number 77 Pebbles for Kansas City. 4 points on that pass for Rugrat, as a back blocking penalty is called on Dimple Destroyer. Shiner Knock now at 6 penalties on Rockin City side. We have a minute left in the game. 12 all on the jam. 262 to 123. Oh, just joking. Added 4 more points to the Kansas City side. So 16 to 12, 266 to 123. 53 seconds left in the game.
So we will have one more jam. On the jam line for Kansas City is Bones, but we are actually having an official timeout. And so chance to talk to you about Rollercon. 13 tracks, 200 games, 2 tournaments, 4 rule sets, a skate park, hundreds of coaches and classes, plus parties and 24-hour access to the pool. Fun and games in Las Vegas.
Shenanigans!
I've never had the opportunity to go to Rollercon, but I've heard it's an absolute scream.
I haven't been in a long time, but I went back in the day, like way back in the day, because I've been doing Derby entirely too long.
I think both of us have been here too long. And it's also an opportunity to talk about Fox Rental, proudly celebrating 50 years under the same ownership and providing the Metroplex with the best equipment to complete all events and projects. And we're back.
And we are. And out next on the jam line, I believe, for likely our final jam of the game, we have Bones facing off against Moxie Balboa, 2 jammers that have definitely been punching their time clock today. Yeah. Moxie Balboa on her 11th jam of the game. Moxie on her 7th, I believe. Moxie gets a cutting the track penalty.
Oh, it is Bones who is lead jammer. And I think it is it is that difference that Kansas City Jammers have been able to play cleaner than Rockin City.
Yeah.
And that when there has been a power jam, Rockin City haven't been able to take the advantage that they needed.
They've only had one, the only jammer penalty. Oh, and then, of course, an announcer curse. As soon as I say that, then Bones inevitably ends up in the penalty box.
And it was a toe stop on the inside. We had the line sat here down on the inside line. You could see that, and you're just like, oh, no.
Oh, and I take that back. Skatal Attraction did have a couple of jammer penalties. I was looking at the wrong stat area. And very physical pack on the track. Kansas City, look at how much space they're taking up on that track. Taking up 3 or 4 lanes in a beautiful box formation. Rockin City really needs to jump in right now and provide some offense. That's their only job right now.
And that's what they did. A big, big train of offense came in and cleared that inside line for Moxie Balboa.
Period clock has expired. We have 38 seconds left on the jam clock. We will go the full 2 minutes. 0 points for either team. Now we got 4 for Kansas City.
And Moxie on a scoring pass, but is facing that tripod up front just as Bones is back in the pack and faces a tough blue wall as well. So both defenses not willing to give up the game yet.
And Moxie gets through for 4 points on that pass. Black Mamba sent to the penalty box.
And it's all happening on turn 1. And the pack speeding up ahead of Moxie's return. But it's a hit out to the inside. Bones pushing out front. That's the jam.
And that's the game. 4 more points for both jammer. I'm sorry, 3 for Rockin City, 4 for Kansas City.
Yep. So 274 for Kansas City is the unofficial score. 130 for Rockin City. And that was such a fun game to watch.
It was, really.
And I think we did see in that last sort of, 7-8 minutes, Rockin City really working out how to try and get their defense together. And that was really fun to watch in these last few minutes.
Absolutely. And I think the rest of the games for the tournament are going to be super fun to watch as well.
Yep.
We're going to see Kansas City taking on the winner of our next game, which is going to be Pikes Peak versus Panhandle United. And then later, Rockin City will take on the loser of our next game. That will happen tomorrow, I believe.
And our next game?
Our next game is going to be Pikes Peak versus Panhandle United here at 2 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, which is just about 30 minutes away.
And it's like unbelievably late now in the UK.
But if you're tuning in from the UK, thanks for joining us. I'm sure it's nice to hear a familiar voice by way of Dork Mistress here.
Yeah, I've been Dork Mistress.
And I've been Scarlett O'Hurtia. Thanks for joining us for Kansas City versus Rockin City here at Clover Cup 2019.